Welcome to Math Guardians, the math card game that will bring your students together and make them love math. Let's get to this. Step 1 would be to print out the necessary things that you need to make this activity work. The first thing you should print out is the Math Guardians activity worksheet. I should note this is an optional worksheet. You don't need this to run the activity. However, I find it helpful with giving the students a sheet to record their final answers after they do their work on their scrap paper. You can click here for a link to get a copy of this, and then of course you'll have to make the number of copies that you need for your class. The second step is to print out the game cards. These are also known as the character cards. You can find the link for this here. Print these cards out, and you'll have to also cut them out around the border of each card. The next step is up to you. You can either glue and tape the cards onto the index cards, or what I personally suggest is to use some plastic trading card sleeves. You can buy these online or at any trading card store. The plastic sleeves are great to use because they're sturdy and they're protective, and you can use them over and over again. Once you make this decision, you'll have to take a little bit of time to put the character cards onto index cards or insert them into the trading card sleeves. Once you do this, you're all set. The fun part about this is you can use these cards for the entire school year and mix them into different lessons that you can use in the future. Plus, students are also going to love trying to collect more cards and learn about the new characters that they meet as they go through this journey. So, what do students need every time you do this activity? 1 is the character cards that you just printed out. 2 is they're going to need scrap paper. 3, they're going to need the Math Guardians worksheet. Like I said, this is optional. However, it might be better to use this in order to stay organized so you can check students for their final answers. And number 4, of course, they're going to need a pencil. In this example, there are 20 students in this classroom. Students are sitting together, and please remind them that they are all working together on the same team. Even though they're in different groups, the entire classroom is working together. I'll explain more about this in a moment. When you're handing out all the things that you need to your class, each group will get 3 character cards to start. The rest of the character cards will be in a pile that the teacher holds on to and will give out later on as the game progresses. Please make sure that each student gets an individual worksheet so that they can all write down their answers. Let's take a look at the character cards before we move on to anything else so we can understand how this game works. The game is pretty simple and straightforward. It should be easy to understand once you get the hang of it. On the screen, we have the character name at the top of the card. On the left side of the card is the math operations. This is the operations that the character can use. In a way, you can think of this as the character's superpowers. They can either add, subtract, multiply, or divide. On the bottom of the card are the character numbers. Each character can have between 2 to 4 numbers on their card, and these are the numbers that the characters can use with their operations in the game. So, simply put, the more operations and the more numbers a character has, the better that character is. For example, as you can see on the screen, we're looking at Turbo Boy. He has the ability to do addition and subtraction, and his character numbers are 1, 4, and 17. So what this means is during the game, Turbo Boy has the ability to add 1 to any equation, or he can subtract 1 to any equation. He can also add 4 or subtract 4 to any equation, and he can add 17 and subtract 17 to any equation. So, the procedure. As you just saw in the example, students are sitting in groups, about 3 to 4 students each. The important thing to understand for your students is that all of them are working together as an entire class, trying to unlock as many character cards as possible. So students should never feel the need like they're competing against each other. They're basically just competing against the game. In order to find and unlock the cards, they must solve the equations that appear on the screen throughout the game.